What's up, everybody? This is Enlightened Masculinity. I'm Yogi Chris, aka Pimpin' Yogi, and this episode is conversational skills and getting women. There's a science and an art of getting women. It's called picking up chicks. Some people maybe shy away from that phrasing. It's not the most flattering phrasing. It's age old, really. And anyway, guys pick up chicks by default. By nature, they have their strategy they're going to tap into, and its nature has been studied and codified, right? This is called evolutionary psychology. And that's essentially what this show is the red pill of male-female dynamics. Red pill meaning the truth bombs about all sorts of things about evolutionary psychology that I've gone over in hundreds of episodes. And it's also mixed. This show has gone through many themes, as it used to have a co-host, and we interviewed some guys, and we also have an IMC Nation movement. So I interview guys topically about, some of the events and trainings that they've done. But the underlying theme of this show is enlightened masculinity. So not just culturally enlightened masculinity, but like ultimately enlightened masculinity. But what is, super ultimate is maybe God or whatever, and maybe it's genderless or it's beyond sex or whatever. I don't know about that. What seems to be visible to me and what works, and that's what this is about. It's not just the red pill of masculinity. It's the red pill of masculinity, and it works that you get girls. You got to get girls, or it's just like mental masturbation or whatever. That leads to real masturbation because you're not getting girls. So there's a method here, the AZD IMC method, and it's built on a lot of things. And one of those things is mystery method, which is, it's an actual branding. It's called mystery method. And, one of our episodes is, a lot of our episodes talk about it, but one of our episodes is titled Mystery Method. So you can go check that out. And, there's a lot of stuff out there. There's a lot of haters about Mystery Method. And, I am well versed in many things, as I'm a PhD and a master's in science and engineering, if that's considered a science. And, it is bachelor's of science, master's of science. So it is. And I've been high skilled at many things. I work with Arash and for Arash Dibazar, who's number one at what he does. He's got 8, 9, 10, something like that, super hot girlfriends that all know about each other. And so he's living this example, and people are studying, they're practicing, and they're putting it into practice, and they're getting results. And we have an event coming up, of course. So this is all, we always have an event coming up. I'm that guy that made it so that every month there was an event happening. Now the events are incredible. It's a party. There's nights at the strip club. There's interactions, paid interactions, yes, with entertainers, with women that don't have to interact with you a certain way, but they are going to put on their charm and their cheer a little bit above and beyond what your game would naturally bring if you were outside of the strip club. But you start to get familiar with interacting with a pretty girl. She's in a bikini, or whatever. So it's gonna make you act a little bit of fool, a little bit dumb, a little bit immature. You're gonna spend over money if you have it, and you're going to start to figure some stuff out if you persist. Combine that with some red pill information, then, okay, so now it's maybe more scientifically interesting, like you were watching the Discovery Channel. And then combine that with a coach or a mentor or a buddy, a pal, who's really good at doing it, and you're just hanging out with him while it's happening. And it's like, man, this is life. This is living. And then you start to pick some things up, and that's part of what this podcast is about. So I made a business with that guy, where every month we do these events. And now there's a party that I've talked about it in other episodes. You can check it out. And so that happens at the end of this month. I think everybody should come to that. It's ridiculously low price. When you consider the value of it, you couldn't come anywhere close to it if you tried to make it happen for yourself. And the opportunity, lifetime, over your lifetime, lifelong, amongst all the people on the planet, to have the experience that you would have coming here, going to Spearmint Rhino 2 nights with the pack, with AZD, and going to a Fuse nightclub, privately rented establishment, 10 guys, 10 girls, speed dating rotation with conversational skills, which is what this episode's about. The conversational skills. In the mystery method, he spells it out in a very geometrically sound, perfect way of courtship, male, female courtship. Attraction, comfort, seduction. Inside of attraction, comfort, and seduction, there are 3 subphases. Open, female to male interest, male to female interest. That's attraction. Then you have, the bouncing locations, deep comfort and connecting, value exchange, conversation, basically connection and conversation, and then arousal. let's say heavy petting, and that's C3. That's as far as you can go in comfort. Then S1 would be where C ends, where it stops, C3, but S1 in the seduction location. So it's the same thing as C3, but it's just in the seduction location, because you can't go from comfort to seduction, which leads to sex, if you're not in a sex location, even if you're heavy petting and all into each other and arousing each other and whatever. Not that you're like hands or whatever, but like the energy is there. It doesn't mean like you're physically, I mean, a little bit, but yeah. And so that's the model. Now, attraction, comfort, seduction. We have the basic, what the basic guy will go for is he'll start, the average frustrated Trump is he'll start with comfort. He won't generate attraction. He'll go right into comfortable, be comfortable, friend vibes. And then he'll try to seduce from there. He'll start by being a friend like that without being attractive. See, the science here with AZDIMC is be super attractive and be the friend while you seduce. It's an evolution of all this stuff, and I'll get to it. In this very brief episode, I'll get to it. I'll get to telling you what you need to know to improve. So that's for most guys. Now, when they succeed, any guy that succeeds, which is have sex with the girl, from her vantage point, inside her brain, her little brain, looking out her little beady eyes, looking at the guy that she ultimately gets with, they went through attraction, comfort, and seduction. She was approached, or the conversation opened. She saw something or many things that she perceived as higher value than her, which she indicated interest in. He at some point made her feel like, you're special for XYZ reason to me. Not like in a deeply heartfelt way, but like this makes you different from other people for me. You're not like other girls. She felt that at some point. They became comfortable in multiple locations in her mind. C1. They had enough conversation that she became comfortable and connected. Arousal, sex location arousal, and then last minute resistance. She resisted before sex. Every girl does the first time, and sometimes after the first time, but the first time for sure, she'll have some resistance to sex with a new man biologically. She's going to be induced. It's like a knee-jerk reaction. No man's good enough for her to completely give it up from stranger to sex without resisting at some point. Something that he does. Okay. And then sex. So that's after LMR. So that's S2, S3. Now, some people will, let's say you be a star. So the average frustrated chump will start at comfort, go to seduction. But anytime that he has been successful with a woman and had sex with her, he went through ACS with her. And it's just who's going to find you attractive. What's their relative value? It's not valuable to everybody in the same way. To a deeply religious woman, maybe a deeply religious man would have value versus somebody who is deeply agnostic or whatever, or nihilistic or something. It would be nothing to them. So it's in the eye of the beholder. Its value is to value to who. And the more general the value is valuable to, like the more general it is to every woman would find that attractive that the man has a motorcycle. Every woman would find attractive that the man is leading other wealthy men. Every woman would find attractive that the man seems to be creating really positive effects on a beautiful woman. Like that's attractive to her. That's not attractive to us. Like if we see a girl having really positive effects are being made on her by some guy, like if that's the interaction, that doesn't make me more attracted to her. I see her as less available. I almost go blind to it unless I want to go in and do that, But that's like, why is there such scarcity? I'm going to go in and penetrate that just to test my skills. Maybe I'll try to do that. But like, that's the energy is going on there. But to another girl, who is that guy? I want an interaction like that. So, certain things are more, and then just there's levels to these things. So friend zone will be, let's say, you attract the person and you become comfortable with the person and you don't ever go to seduction. So you just C. The first one I said was you start at comfort and they get stuck there. That's how guys will approach it. They open with comfort. They open trying to connect with deep conversation. They don't open with some non-needy, over-the-shoulder, lighthearted conversation that's playful, demonstrates value, and almost in a way that's like, I'm not interested in you sexually. I'm just treating you like my little sister or whatever. Until there's enough indications of interest, and then I'll tell you why, you're not my little sister. I see you differently now. What's that over there? You want to join me, or this, that, and the other thing? Let's. I'll contact you about that. How's the best way to stay in touch? Or we got this thing going on. You want to come? So you bridge, bounce, move, time bridge, and that'll lead you to C. Attraction, comfort. If you don't transition from comfort to seduction, you'll get stuck in what's called the friend zone. At some point, you're comfortable, connect long enough, but there hasn't been enough touch, called kino, which is something that happens throughout all of this in different ways, through attraction to get the person familiar, compliant, and comfort, being able to relax, open up. The conversation continues through touch. There's obvious mutual courtship going on in comfort. Like, it should be obvious you're on a courtship. You're no longer like negging. You're no longer disqualifying yourself. You're in comfort. You've qualified her, so she's seen you as higher value and shown interest, which you've checked. You validated. So it wasn't a fake IOI. It was real interest, comfort, and she's met you somewhere, which is a risk to her. So that is, now you're getting real. You stay funny, you stay attractive, you stay playfully negging her, but it's not to disqualify yourself in such a way as to, it's more of just a value thing, like just to show you're unaffected and that you can handle her bullshit. You see that she's testing you on some way. You can't ever stop gaming the girl. So there'll be negs throughout. You can neg during sex even, but you got to be careful. If you try to neg the same way, that's kind of what teasing is. Or it's kind of teasing. Okay. So what I was talking about is conversational skills. The trap is that you go to other pickup companies where you study pickup and you learn to open. To learn the deeper value demonstrations, the reality of value demonstrating, like the beingness of being a valuable man, versus having gambits that solicit value in her mind, meaning like cold reading, telling her about her astrology, telling her about tarot, numbers, fashion. So now fashion gets more real. That's like more practical or whatever. It's not that tarot or whatever isn't. It's that there are gambits you can learn that aren't directly correlated with life. I mean, there's not like a whole industry on astrology, I don't think. I mean, you would have to group it into like crystal shops or whatever, esoteric occult shops, or like, it's a very antimatter, like away from the material world kind of a thing. But it captures the woman's imagination, a lot of the spiritual stuff, and dream reading or palm reading, handwriting analysis, anything, cold reading her eyes, or just telling her about herself. It ends up being this very intangible thing, because what value is it to know about yourself? Oh, it's a lot of value. So that's the value that we create, is perceptive ability, understanding of human character, human psychology, the ability to communicate it in an imaginative, vivid way, so the person is entertained by it, but then they learn about themselves. Meanwhile, we inject like, okay, we know that there's this thing called game. It's got to be playful for her. And she's been so just whitewashed with male attention all her life. And we don't know. We think we're clever with our game, but she's seen it before. She's heard it before. Somebody else has thought of something like that before. It reminds her of somebody else. You got to separate yourself from the pack. And it's not by becoming so obscure in your game. There are guys that teach lineages of game and picking up chicks that it works, but it's a lot of it might be through confusion. It confuses the girl, or it entrances the girl for a little bit, but there's a lot of what's called buyer's remorse. So it creates attraction, bypass comfort, and go to seduction. If the girl has enough attraction in you because your gambits are so off, just incredible. Like think of a cube. Just imagine a cube. Okay. Tell me about the size, shape, color, texture. What's the scenery in the background? Okay. Now imagine a ladder. Okay. Where's the ladder? Relation to the cube. Blah, 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 blah. And I could go into a deep psychoanalysis that would just grab a girl in her mind right next to her, like fucking little conscious soul right there. And have a little handle in that. But from that, she could have such a spiritually deep connection with me that she'll just move into seduction, not realizing that it's not exactly what she wants. It's not what she was looking for. She was just feeling so much attraction. Hold on, I need to turn on the Wi-Fi on my phone because it's lagging. Okay, there. Now turn on the Wi-Fi for you guys. So that also happens with like celebrities or athletes, you know, which could be like locally a celebrity. Some, let's say in high school, like the celebrity jock or the celebrity football player, even in college, or, you know, celebrity is, don't think it has to be like Hollywood celebrity or even like Washington, D.C. like celebrity, just like the popularity, whatever. And so there could be intense admiration that you were not aware of. Somebody that was admiring you from afar, watching your videos, or, you know, reading your column in the paper or whatever. Just intense admiration for you. And they have so much attraction when they meet you that they will comply if you just move them right to seduction. That's where you, when you hear like rape cases or something, she was probably compliant. Like most of those girls, now when it happens, obviously that guy should have his eyes gouged out and his testicles cut off. But a lot of the false accusations, it puts a man in a position because he went to seduction too fast, didn't bounce enough locations, have enough of the world duplicate that she's voluntarily with him, excited to be with him, on him, touching him. And it creates something in her because most of the girls that falsely do, I don't even think that they're evil. I think it's a reaction that then there's so much out ethics in their life because of what's happened to them that, you know, they act wrong, you know. And is the female evil? Yeah, I would say that I recently learned that, yeah, the female actually is evil, is pure evil. Why? I'll tell you why. Okay. I'll tell you why. And you can use this. Okay. Because this type of logic comes from deep in the code of the universe. And so this will wise you up. All right. So we all know that women equals time and money. Yes. If you want women in your life, that they're going to require time and money. Okay. And then we also know that time is money. Right. So time is money. So women equals money times time, but time is money. So women equals money times money, which is money squared. Okay. But we all know that money is the root of all evil. You get it? So money equals root evil. So women equals money squared. Money equals root evil. So if you substitute root evil into money, you get women equals root evil squared. Root evil squared is just evil. So women equals evil. Get it? So, but I don't think the falsely accusation stuff happens because women are evil a lot of the time. They're just, and that's kind of off the subject. The whole thing is off the subject, but it's related in the sense that there's buyer's remorse is a real thing, that if you move too swiftly through comfort, connection, and arousal, And arousal is a status of kino escalation. Like you have become so familiar with each other's touch, so comfortable, the intimacy of what's happening is arousing, because that's naturally what happens between men and women. Guys, on Instagram, this is about to die unless I plug it in. So I'm going to plug it in just for you guys. Boom. Lucky you guys. Look at you. I did that just for you. John Calvin, you got a question, so I'll answer your question. Actually, everybody, if you have a question, I think that's pretty much wrapping it up. I'm sure there's a little bow I'll put on that. And it'll come after this announcement that we have a party coming up on the 27th, and the gathering is 25, 26, 27. So go to imcbase1.com, check it out. If you're catching this recording, then there's another gathering that month that you're looking at it. And you should come, because it's the number one guy on the planet, plus a pack of wolves, werewolves, team, shapeshifters, we're warriors. And there's always new guys coming around. So don't think that you're too new. You should see what we've been at, John Calvin, what do you do if you are passionate about achieving more than one goal in two different fields, like business and filmmaking, for example? Well, obviously, like, for example, business and filmmaking could be one field because it's the business of filmmaking. I'm sure there's a lot of spinoffs of the business of filmmaking. And, what do you do if you are passionate? It's all about integrating your life. And, the more I studied these philosophies, the more integrated I made my life, until my life became just all about this stuff. Like I exchanged everything I was doing to be in the position I'm at, where I'm at, doing what I'm at, alongside next to the number one guy here on the planet. And, you get to study from your distance in India, doing this, applying this stuff in your life. So I taught in the pyramid of success. I'm a kind of guy, I'm a Virgo, right? I make lists. I like to write out my thoughts, put my mind out, and create organization from that, because I like seeing it all in front of me. It makes it kind of easier to see what I'm working with, instead of trying to hold it all in my short-term memory and figure out my life. Like writing it out helps me see the bigger picture. And in doing that, I kind of figure out more connections between these things that are different. And I learned to budget my time, and, you just grow up. This is what growing up is. Sometimes I look at you guys and I'm like, man, you're so young, this and that. You have so much evolution you got to do. And then sometimes I myself in my life, I feel like, man, I'm so young. I need to grow up. I got so much evolution I got to do. Like it's a timeline through history, backwards and forwards. And we're all born somewhere on it: conception, birth, old age, death, sickness, somewhere in there, some pleasure, and boom, 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 the wheel of life. And, so you got to figure it out. What do you do when you have two things? You fucking be the best and fuck the rest. That's what you do. All right. All right. Anything else? I don't have any other comments coming in. Got a lot of viewers though, so that's always dope. And if you're catching this recording, like, share, follow, leave a review. We get lots of views on all the newer podcast apps. I thought it was all about Apple, but I'm telling you what, we're getting a lot of views on these other apps: Ghana, iHeartRadio, Podbean, there's a couple others that are up there. Spotify, yes, but there's another one, Podcast Addict, actually is higher than Spotify. So there's, if you're on those shows, leave us a review, because that'll help us grow on those shows. And okay, so the main point of this episode, the party is the teaching of those conversational skills. You can learn how to approach, demonstrate a gambit, solicit some IOIs, brush them off, neg them, until you get enough that you're like, huh, and then notice something about the person that's real. Because that's easy enough. Everybody's interesting. If you're talking to a pretty girl for 5 to 10 minutes, you haven't noticed something about her, like fucking notice something about her. And then make a plan. At some point in that 5 to 10 to 15 minutes, you've talked about something that is justified, like the reason why you should stay in touch. Even if it's just you're getting along so well, let's stay in touch, and then figure it out from there. Then you have Instagram game. But and that's kind of what this is. So it's not an Instagram game, but Instagram game is like comfort, and you got to do it all over again. You got to keep attracting her, let her show interest, have that good conversation on the text that isn't needy, but you're already in comfort. So the game is won in comfort. The skills to attract and solicit interest and number close, get the number of a girl isn't that difficult. But how to properly seduce her, to get her to open herself to you, is an exchange of ideas pleasantly done about the world, such as where your ambition comes from, such as if you were from a past life, have you ever seen anything, such as do you think aliens are real? To actually have conversations about these things, to so many, this is what we teach in the Millionaires Club. So you get these threads that as you talk about them, there's a part of the mind that activates, that brings the two people closer if you're able to do it. Now, add to it ambiance, add to it your brothers are there, add to it the girls are really pretty, add to it a little bit of Don Julio, and add to that teacher who's #1 in the world, who's going to give you organically these questions that will tap your mind on how to connect intimately with a woman in conversation. This is how you separate yourself from the pack, my friends. This is how you separate yourself from the herd. Let me say, that's better said. That's what it is. This is how you separate yourself from the herd, is this conversation that she can't get elsewhere. She can get some good dick somewhere. She can be attracted to someone somewhere. There's a lot of attractive guys that high value that she can look up to. Where is she going to get conversation that peers into her mind and connects with her and exchanges so that she is understood on a level that most guys would just laugh at her or brush her off or not be able to articulate jack shit? And then add to it that you have a tribe. It's a huge thing. So coming out here, and then that's the ticket this month is $13.47. If you pay it in full, it's $13.47. Or if in payments, it's $14.97. $14.97 gets you the party, gets you all the advanced training all month, gets you the 3 days lectures here in person with the pack, and gets you 2 nights at the strip club with AZD in the pack. So it's like a lot of infield. It's just ridiculously low price, ridiculously low price. So there's 10 spots for that. And why? Because there's so many guys. There's 6 guys or 8 guys that live here in San Jose. So it's going to be like 18 or 19 guys at the thing. So we'll be rolling deep with AZD. It's 20 guys go to the strip club. That's an experience. And so we basically make the strip club our private party also, because there are other guys and there's the owner and the girls are hustling and whatever. And it's not the private party because they're hustling. They're in their bikinis and whatever versus the party girl. And it's not just those girls. The girls come from different venues. It's all the owner of the strip club is also the owner of the nightclub that we go to. So she has a lot of connections. And so we also have some regular girls. It's a very interesting thing. And I don't want to get too carried away with this episode. But the conversational skills to separate yourself from the herd is what this Millionaires Club is all about. So that was the theme of this episode. I see the question came in here privately. Let me read this here first. Or you want me to answer that? This is a girl's question. One of my bitches, one of my females. No, seriously, this is the prettiest, sweetest little potato you ever. I'm just kidding. And my sister, my grand ass sister living in Hawaii is on my Instagram live. So blessing to have you, sis. I'm closing it out. And this is interesting because, like I said, my bird here, my honey bun, as Cortez calls things, is your biggest goal to get laid, or do you actually want to get to know some women? Hold on, let me turn on a light here. We're going to shine a light on this topic. Well, obviously, my biggest goal is neither of those things, because that's a big thing to say. Your biggest goal is your biggest goal. I don't know what my biggest goal is. To thrive in life, I suppose, is the biggest goal. But I get what you're saying. Like, is the point of focus more towards let's get laid versus let's get to know some women? And the answer is somewhere between in both. Just like there's buyer's remorse and there's friend zoning. And somewhere in between is like making her so attracted while she's friending you that she openly is seduced by you in a way that she doesn't regret. There's something about the yin and the yang of this strategy. Buyer's friend zone is too yin, it's too beta of a man. Buyer's remorse is too alpha. He seduced her too soon because of her attraction towards his traits, so that she regretted it. So somewhere in between, the playing of that electromagnetism, it's in the middle, boom, right? So to get laid or get to know some women, getting laid for me is getting to know the woman. Like I'm not going to rape her. So she has to open herself to me. She's going to do that when she feels understood and she's attracted to the guy. So I need characteristics that are attractive, character qualities and everything. And conversational skills is what this episode I was talking about. And, you know, and then understand her, listen well, get to know her, connect, you know, and it's not that this isn't for every woman. Like not every woman makes it, you know. It's about having standards and being able to explain yourself and being able to do that in a way that keeps creating attraction in her. Like, and women are fucked up. Women are lost in this world because, like I said, they've just been showered and whitewashed with male attention, that most of which was perverted. Meanwhile, they're pushed. I mean, this is getting real off topic about the episode, but women are like, fuck, I should just do a whole other episode. Maybe tomorrow, show up again. Everybody show up again tomorrow. All right. I got to close this one out. Let's talk about that. I'll talk about like, you know, somehow I'll theme the title, something about like the red pill of women or something maybe. All right. So like, share, follow the show, and I'll see you tomorrow 5 if you're on. I was just hesitating there because this is on the recording and it's not always at 5, you know, so that's why you want to join the Telegram group, which is a free app. So click the link if you're catching the recording or something, join my Telegram group. That's how you get notified so you can join these live. All right. I'll see everybody next time. Namaste.